Hi, my name is Mark Mitford with HR Catalyst. Today is Friday and it's time for Mark's Friday 3 and 3, where I share three great HR tips with you in 3 minutes. So with that, let's go and get started. First off, let's say Happy New Year to you. So it's January, the beginning of January, kind of first week back in the office. And we wanted to talk about today is around performance evaluations. And that usually has elicits a lot of emotional responses by both managers and employees. A lot of times it's considered a check the box exercise that we have to go through and an HR process that we have to do before we can move on to salary planning. But it's really not. It's something that's much more powerful than that. So we wanted to talk about the three key points around performance evaluations and why they are so important this time of year. Number one is around growth and development because we all want to get feedback is a way to get feedback from and actually hear from your manager what you're doing well, where there's some areas for possibly needs for improvement, developmental opportunities, and that's okay because everybody has areas to get better, and that's the way that you grow. So really getting that regular feedback from your manager on how you've done this last year or the last 6 months, let's say if you do semi-annual reviews, is critical. So growth and development is the first one we wanted to focus on here. The next one is to build communication and trust. Communication and trust is so critical within organizations, and it continues to be one of those things that is really challenging in most organizations because we are all moving at light speed within an organization. And this is a time to focus on a robust dialogue between the manager and the employee and really build on that. And the key thing we want to build on there is not only creating that level of communication, but also the level of trust. A lot of employees leave an organization because they simply do not trust their manager. So this develops dialogue, it develops a relationship, and it also builds trust, which is critical. And that's number three. The final one we wanted to talk about is organizational success. Organizations, ideally, the organizational goals and objectives should be set for the year by the executive team, and those should start cascading down into the organization. So ideally, those large goals start, it's almost like when you look at a pyramid. The top of the pyramid is the executive team setting goals and objectives for this year around growth, around profitability, around possibly some new strategies. And then those things should start cascading and trickling down into the organization. So organizational success, making sure that employees' goals are aligned to the company goals and the executive goals. And that sounds very common, and it just sounds common sense, right? But in a lot of cases, employees are actually not working on things that are actually directly correlated or aligned to what's going on at the executive team. So making sure that you have those three things done, growth and development, communication and trust, and organizational success are critical for that performance evaluation. So if you are getting ready to do that this year or the early part of this year, making sure you, as managers, you spend the time to do this well. And also for employees, this is a forum to create dialogue and trust with your manager, which is also critical going forward. So with that, we're going to go ahead and actually stop right here. And thank you so much for listening, and we'll talk again soon. Take care. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.